Good afternoon, everyone, and happy Tuesday. Look who I have on the show this afternoon. You know who this is? This is, and you look at my title, what I had on the show, Ken, is the man, no myth, but a legend.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm really excited to be here. I'm proud of you.
Thank you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is like the biggest. I think I don't think anything. I think for my whole existence right now to have you on my show, this is like the most incredible thing ever. Like I'm in the presence of, just like I said, he's not a myth, he's a legend. And not in his own mind either. He's truly a legend, guys. If you don't know who he is, you will today. Ken has, like, what have you done? Over 3,000 live streams. He's a best-selling author, a wonderful coach, mentor, father, husband, extraordinaire. You can stop me at any moment.
Where I'm trying to find your live stream. Where are you live right now?
I am live on Facebook.
Oh, here we are. I found it. I'm
YouTube.
Trying to share this out.
And on my page.
Got it. Boom.
Now
there.
listen, now you of all people, the pro here, you couldn't find your own live stream.
It didn't notify me that you were live for some reason, which is weird, but yeah. Yeah. So how are you today?
I'm good. I'm really good. I'm so excited. You are a hoot. If anybody that does not know the infamous Ken Walls, I'm telling you, this guy, he may seem like he's like, oh, no, but he is intense. He's happy. He's nice. You're just amazing.
Thank you. So are you.
You're just amazing.
Like attracts like.
Yes, sir. I'm really excited for you to be here. Can you tell the audience, for my viewers who are not familiar with you, other than what I have shared with people on a personal level, can you just give them a little bit of your magnificence and let them know what you do and how you do it, and just share whatever you feel like sharing? I know I tried to prep you prior to the show because you didn't have that much experience, so I did my best to make sure you're comfortable and not nervous. So,
well, it's been a lifelong goal of mine to be on a show where my name could be displayed in pink. and so here we are. I don't know what's next for me now.
It's purple, by the way. That's not true.
Oh, okay.
And purple is royalty. So see, I was trying to give you a platform, but see, you wanted to turn it into this little dainty thing.
That's so nice.
What's up with that?
Thank you. No, did you ever see Steve Martin, the jerk?
It's been a long time. You always come up with crazy movies. It's been a while.
It starts out with his feet hanging out of a bed, and he's raised by a black family, and he says, I was born a poor black child. It's so stupid, but I've always wanted to start off a speech or something with that.
Well, you know what I think anyway, right?
I know.
Right? I've told you that, so I'll leave that just for our listening ears only. But that there's a whole underlying little thing with that. That's a good one though. I like it.
You said it. You can say it. I don't care. You said you're blacker than I am. So listen, I love people and I love life and I love helping people and I love seeing people spring into action in life and listen, it wasn't always like that for me because I was born in a very I don't want to say poor, but lower middle class for sure. I think when my mom stopped working at the factory worked at for 25 years, she left there only at like $9 an hour or something. So, it was always it always seemed like a struggle. And you know, there was some insanity growing up, and I'm not going to get into all that, but you know, I talk a little bit about it in my first book. And you know, I was exposed to a lot of violence and a lot of not exposed. I experienced a lot of that and a lot of the insanity that goes with alcoholism and everything else that I was around. And so you know, by the age of 12, 13, 12, well, 12, I was the age I was arrested for the first time at 12, because my cousin and I we found this old abandoned building in the little town that we were in, and we thought it would be fun to perform karate moves and kick holes in the walls and everything else. And then we found out that they were actually refurbing that building. and,
Wow.
and we went in and destroyed some drywall and stuff, just being stupid kids. But you know, so I got to experience my first time being arrested at a very young age, and spent a little bit of time in juvenile detention center, and you know, life from there just got worse. It as a teenager, I was a very troubled teen, in trouble a lot. Spent most of my teenage years on probation, getting in and out of trouble, just little petty things, you know. But the whole time I had an entrepreneurial spirit. You know, I was selling weed, for example.
Okay. All right.
At some point. No, I mean, I at 7, 8 years old, I started mowing yards and shoveling snow and going door to door and knocking on doors and doing everything I could to make money, because I saw these kids that were wearing, you know, back then it was Jordache jeans and you know, whatever, Tommy Hilfiger and you know, I wanted to be one of those kids. I wanted to dress nice too. I didn't want to go buy the cheap clothes that my mom could afford, and I wanted so I would do everything I could to buy my own stuff and make my own way, and unfortunately along the way I got in trouble, and I started getting into drinking, and the most drugs I ever did was marijuana, which is a drug in my opinion, and you know, it's a gateway for me for sure. But so I started getting into all of that, and by the age of 17, I was my senior year in high school. They called me in and said, "Hey, you didn't get a biology credit in 10th grade." I went, "Yeah, that class sucked. I hated it." And yeah, I know that. And they're like, "Well, you have to have that to graduate." And I'm like, "Well, that's stupid." And they're like, "Well, it may be, but it's our rules." And I'm like, "Well, your rules are stupid then." And so I walked out of school that day. There's Doug Wing. Hey, Doug. I mean, is there nobody watching? Come on. So I walked out that day, and at 17 years old, I went and a friend of mine had his apartment. He was a few years older than me, and I moved out, went and lived in my own place at 17 years old, and you know, just started. You know, it was everything to me was a party. Like, it was just, how can I party? How can I get drunk? How can I stay drunk? How can I make money along the way? I delivered pizzas. I got my first job at like 11 years old cleaning trash dumpsters at an Italian restaurant. And worked all my teenage years, even though I would get in trouble. I mean, it sounds like I was in and out of prison. I wasn't. I literally, you know, that getting arrested at 12 years old and going to a juvenile detention center was terrifying, because there were like 17 and 18-year-olds in this place that were, you know, on trial for homicide. And I kicked some holes in drywall. My gosh. and so, you know, it was a little intense, but and it scared me enough to I would push the envelope, but I wouldn't go so far as to get locked up again.
Sure.
But so I did a lot of crazy stuff, um and so I left school, got my own apartment, was working jobs, ended up getting a job working at the Honda factory building cars. And I did that for 2.5 years. And at 18 years old, I was this 33 years ago, or third, no, gosh, 34, about 34 years ago, maybe. Um, I was making 45,000, 40 to 45, $50,000 a year. And, you know, today that's like 100 and some odd $1,000. And I mean, I lived there. I worked overtime, everything I could do. I went out of my way to be the best. But there was this thing that I kept doing, and that was called drinking. And you know, the job started getting in the way of my party time and drinking. So it didn't take long. And I started seeing, like, you know, meeting people that were in sales, and they were making crazy money. I was watching people making, you know, $3, $4, $5,000 a week in commissions. And I was like, what the hell? I'm killing myself out here at Honda to like literally to make, you know, not that much. And I was like, something's got to give here. And so hey, I've seen Prudence on your stream before.
Yeah.
So
Hi,
hi, Prudence. And Teodora is here. And notice I don't say Teodora anymore, because she doesn't like that. So I'm still gonna say it, Teodora. But anyway, so you know, I realized, and there was nothing inside of me that said, you know, I am an alcoholic. Nothing. In fact, you know, my ex-wife, who was my high school sweetheart, many times she said to me, you need to get control of your drinking or I'm out of here. And you know, the final time she said, I'm tired of the way you drink so much and you get crazy and blah, 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 blah. And and me and my infinite wisdom, I said, you're the reason I drink so much. And so she left. And that time she left and never came back. And I just drank more and more. Wow. But I got into sales and I started making $2,000 and $3,000 a week. And I was like, man, this is it for me. Right. And so then I started building up my own, you know, got into my own businesses and made even more money. And it was, you know, again, the whole time I'm drinking, and I'm moving to different parts of the United States. Lived in Atlanta at one point, lived in Pittsburgh, lived in West Virginia, Seattle, I've lived all over the country. And so it was, and I built a multi-million-dollar company from nothing, from zero. Had bunches of salespeople working for me, and just had an incredible time. Was attending parties at private events with the CEO of HBO and DirecTV and all these like private party that Playboy International had, and I was invited as a VIP guest, which was not a good idea. But anyway, so I was doing all of this stuff, and I always knew that I could outwork anybody, and I was willing to go to I was willing to go with no sleep. I was willing to go with an hour of sleep here and there. I was willing to do anything to make it work in the business world. Joachim in Hell, Norway, and that's literally a place, y'all. So Joachim's awesome. I love that dude. He needs to join the Go Live Academy, but that's another. But so So I went, I literally just beat the crap out of myself for years and years and years. And I lost that multi-million-dollar company. I lost everything. Ended up in Seattle working for a guy that's a billionaire. And I remember.
Are you there?
Oh, there. I don't know what happened. That was
I don't
weird.
know. It stuck there for a minute.
Yeah. So I ended up the VP of sales in this guy's company, and he calls me in one day and says, you keep coming in at 11 o'clock in the morning and leaving at 2 in the afternoon, and the company said.
Oh, looks like we got a internet thing again. Let's see.
I don't know what's happening. That's weird.
No. My internet's good though.
Mine is too. That's weird. Maybe it's a problem with StreamYard or something. I've never seen that happen. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you. Yeah, perfectly.
What did you hear last? Do you know?
The guy asked about why you come in at 11 o'clock and leave at 2.
Yeah. So I, and it was because I was drinking. I mean, I couldn't function without drinking every.
Okay, it's doing that again. The internet's good, Ken, so I don't know if you can hear me. I'll send you a message too. Bear with us, guys. Sometimes when the message is okay, so give me a second. We're gonna get him back on the horn here. Okay, we're still here. Whenever the message is need to be heard, all messages do, but sometimes you encounter some technical difficulties, and obviously it's a powerful story too. So I know that there are a lot of people that need to hear this that may be going through a similar situation. So it's very important that you hear that from someone that has already been there, done that, and obviously has really maximized that. So bear with me just a second. I'm going to resend the link just in case he doesn't have it, and get him back on so that we can continue to hear the message. Ken does have a great story, Doug, and he's amazing. I tell you, the guy is just he's got such a heart for people, and just an incredible individual. Just send him a quick text here. So I'm still here. But we all have a story, and look who is back. Hold on.
I am sorry. I don't know my internet. We had an internet outage here, I guess. I don't know what the heck just happened. I apologize.
That's
Um,
okay, but you know what, Ken? The thing is that this story clearly needs somebody needs to hear that. And so, a lot of times that technical interference or whatever that interference is, it doesn't want that story to be heard. So we're
yeah.
here, we're in it to win it. And thank you for hopping back on. And if you could just maybe just repeat just from where you left off last about the drinking. I just feel like this is supposed to be heard today. So thank you for coming back.
Yeah, my apologies. I don't know. Hopefully it doesn't do it again. But and Doug Wing is one of my best friends. I love that dude. He said he's almost a Mormon now. That's funny, Doug. That's funny. So I ended up, telling that guy that he didn't know his rear end from a hole in the ground, because that's just how arrogant and sick I was. And, I ended up becoming homeless in Seattle and, sleeping in my car. I couch surfed. I went from, place to place, and, was no way to live. And I remember, waking up. I had passed out at 1 o'clock in the morning after consuming a crazy amount of Crown Royal and just crazy amount, like a lot. And I wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning, and I'm at some woman's house, and I sneak downstairs. She's got a case of Budweiser in the fridge, and I hated Budweiser regular, but whatever, it was alcohol to me. And at that point I was willing to drink whatever I could. And I remember cracking one open and chugging it straight down. Now, I had only had 3 hours of sleep, mind you.
Wow.
And was still wasted, but I didn't feel it. My tolerance was completely unpredictable at that point. And so I crack open a second one, and I sit down in this dark living room in her house. And I'm sitting on her couch, and I'm drinking the second beer, and I lost it. I just started crying, and I couldn't stop. It was uncontrollable. And something told me, maybe it was me, maybe it was God, I don't know, but something told me to call my sister, my older sister, who's a nurse practitioner. Her and her husband were incredibly wealthy and successful, and I called her and was in tears, and she was, a nurse. So I'm like, she's gonna know, something. She had been telling me for years, you got to quit drinking. And I said, I called her, she answered. It was 7 a.m. on the East Coast, and she answers and says, I said, I need help. And she starts crying, and I said, there are some bad people I owe money to out here, and I'm in trouble, and I wasn't legally in trouble. It was just, you don't want to owe these people money. And so, I can't believe she did this still to this day. She wired me. She said, well, you need to come back. She said, I'll fly Dad out there to drive your car back and fly you home and take you to see one of my friends. And because I did still at this point, I didn't say I had a drinking problem. I said, I have a thinking problem. There's something wrong with the way I think. I didn't want to admit that I had a problem with alcohol. And so she said, yes, and she just knew to agree. And she said, yes, I understand. You're thinking, you need to get it out. You need to talk to somebody. And I didn't know she was tricking me, but she sent me, she said, what's the closest grocery store? I'll wire, I forget what, $1,600 or something. And you drive yourself home then. Cause I was like, no, nobody's driving my car. I was just so stupid. And so I remember I went to the store, picked up the cash, paid off the people I owed money to because I did not need that problem. And I drove myself back across the country, and she said, make sure you stop every evening and drink. And I was like, right on. Like, I was like, yeah, she gets it. And you know, she knew that I was so bad that I could have, you know, gone into seizures from DTs, delirium tremens, whatever it's called. And so I drove back across the country, back to Ohio, went to meet with her friend, and it was a family intervention that they were doing. And basically they were saying, you're done. Like, my mom had co-signed on this car because I lost that company, destroyed my credit. My mom co-signs on this car. The car's not, you're not getting the car back. You're not, like, you're going to go to treatment, and it starts right now. And if you don't, then we're done with you. You can walk out of this hospital and walk to wherever the hell you want to go, but we're done.
Wow.
And I was like, yo, I just drove 3-4 days across the country for this bull crap. And I didn't say bull crap, but you know, I was mad as heck. And so I stayed for the full 28 days, and it was the best decision I ever made. I did not stay sober long term from there. I ended up 6 months later drinking again for about 1.5 years. But it planted all the seeds that needed to be planted. Now, I had been to AA meetings most of my teenage years. I was in and out of AA meetings. You know, I had been through all kinds of recovery and had all of that inside my brain, but nothing ever stuck, you know? And so I went through that treatment. I ended up getting drunk again 6 months later and stayed drunk and nearly died. And then one day, August the 10th of 2002, I was sitting on a bar stool and I was drinking, and I was on my 7th tall draft beer. And wasn't even remotely, not even a little bit buzzed, not even a little bit after 7 tall draft beers. And my tolerance was 100% completely unpredictable. There could be times where I drink half a beer and I'm in a blackout. And then there were times where I could drink a whole bottle of Crown Royal or a fifth of vodka and walk a perfectly straight line. And I didn't know that was happening. But I was really, really sick. And so this guy sits down next to me on the bar stool, David, and he says, hey, dude, I put in my notice. I'm ready to start working for you here in a couple of weeks. And I'm like, what the hell are you talking about, dude? I'm not hiring. And he goes, but you told me you are. I said, no, I didn't. What are you talking about, dude? I never said that. What? And he's like, are you serious? You don't remember that? 2 nights ago, you told me to put in a notice you were going to hire me as your head technician. I said, you're making that up, dude. I didn't say that. And he's like, bro, you did. And I'm like, well, dude, we're downsizing. We're not hiring. I don't know. I guess I had a little too much fun the other night. And he said, fun? Fun? You think it's fun? He said, dude, you know what? Everybody around here knows that you're nothing but a worthless drunk. Why don't you go get some freaking help? And he didn't say freaking. And he got up and walked out. And this is a really high-end bar. Like, it's in, like, Jack Nicklaus, the golfer. It's in his neighborhood. And I was sitting there. It's a restaurant bar. And I'm sitting there and I'm looking around thinking, I wonder who else just heard him say that. And I'm looking around. I felt like everybody in the whole place was staring at me. They weren't. But it was that moment that I can't explain it. But I had a huge spiritual awakening in that moment. And I said, you know, maybe he's right. And I paid my tab took one more sip of the beer. I remember that. And I got up. I got in my car. I'm sorry. And I drove back to the hotel I was staying in because my ex had thrown me out. Because she didn't like the fact that I hit on her best friend when I was drunk.
That would be a problem.
Yeah. And so, and I went back to the hotel and I laid on the bed, and I'll never forget bawling my eyes out, yelling at God, blaming God. I blamed everybody for my problems. It was never my fault. And I said, you know what? If you're real, I need your help because I cannot do this. I don't know how to make it stop. And there were no burning bushes. There were no Moses didn't show up with a tablet and smack me over the head with it or anything. The next morning I got up, and I had remembered from being in treatment that all we have to do is ask God and take it one day at a time.
Right.
And so in that moment I said, I surrender. Please help me stay sober today. And it was just that day. Now listen, I drank every day. I kept bottles of liquor in the desk at the office. I couldn't work for somebody else because they didn't want me to drink. I had to own my own business because I made the rules. You don't like it, leave. Like that was my attitude. You don't like me drinking while I'm in my business, then you're fired. Like, you know, like just so arrogant and so stupid. And so, you know, I ended up going to a meeting that night, and this is how big my ego was. It was so big that I thought I can't go to a meeting around here, and there was literally one less than a mile from where I was staying. I can't go because we can't have people seeing me walking into a church, let alone an AA meeting. So I drove like 30 or 40 miles out of town and to a town that I knew, but I didn't think anybody would know me. So I walk into this AA meeting and I get a cup of coffee and I sit down and I look over and this dude's wearing a ball cap, and I go, hey. And he looks at me and he goes, hey. And I go, what are you doing here? And he goes, I've been waiting on you. It was a doctor that I know that had many years in recovery.
Wow.
And so, you know, it was like God put me right there where I needed to be.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was a discussion meeting. So you go around the room and you discuss a topic, right? Mm-hmm. And I don't remember what the topic was, but I do remember that the doctor next to me started the conversation, and then it went from him around to everybody. I was going to be the last one to speak. And so it came my time at the end of the meeting. It was my turn to speak, and I had it planned out, man. I was like, I'm about to impart some wisdom on these folks. They don't even know what's about to hit them, right? And we're sitting in this church. It's like a big giant church cafeteria thing or whatever, and I'm like, I had it. I was gonna pontificate all over them. Like, this is it. This is my moment to shine. And so it came to me, and I said, hi, I'm Ken, and I'm an alcoholic. And everybody said, hi, Ken. And I said, wow, that's the first time I've ever said that and meant it. I actually meant it that time. I had said it before, but I never believed it. I never believed that I was an alcoholic until that moment, even though hundreds of people probably had said, dude, you're an alcoholic. It just pissed me off and made me drink more. And so it was in that. And so I said, that's the first time I've ever said that and meant it. Wow. And you know, people were smiling about it, and I'm like, okay, here it comes. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna lay it out now. I'm about to impart some wisdom on y'all. Get ready. and a little bat, flying mice, bat flies down. I did like, there's a bat in this church. What the heck? Flies down out of the rafters and buzzes right past my head and is swarming around the room. Everybody's screaming. And some dude's like, stay calm, it'll be fine. I'm like, a freaking bat. I'm freaking out. And I'm climbing underneath the table. And it's swarming around and around and around. And then it goes back up to the rafters and hangs there. And the dude leading the meeting goes, well, I think that's a good sign that we should end the meeting and say the Lord's Prayer. And I was like, but I didn't get to pontificate. Like, I didn't get to impart all my wisdom on you guys.
I said, no.
And it was like, God sent the bat. I'm telling you,
yeah.
God sent the bat to tell me to shut your mouth, dude. Shut up. You don't know everything. Shut up and listen. And so it was there were so many things along the way. It's been in August the 10th, I will have, by the grace of God, I will have 19 years of sobriety without taking a drink or a drug or a mind or mood altering drug. And I am so grateful for that, Patricia. I just am.
Congratulations. That's coming up right around the corner, your anniversary.
Yeah. It's crazy. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate that. But it's just been, it's been a lot of work. It's been a lot of hard work, but I'm grateful. I'm really, really grateful. So sorry, that took a long time to tell that story with the internet interruptions, and
it's okay. I always believe everything happens as it should, and that story needed to be heard. It's for someone. And if you're struggling with that, you have someone here, you have a reference point that you can go and re-listen to this video, because there's hope. You just gave a lot of people hope that maybe they're in that situation, Ken, they just don't feel like there's an outlet. But
right.
I think also just you being vulnerable and honest and authentic too. I mean, there's nothing to hide, right? Just, here I am. It is what it is. That's my journey. And I think if more people would get into that mindset of that's my journey and not be afraid, but there's so much judgment and everything. So I really appreciate you just laying it all out there so we can have that to reference too, just for life.
I watched, I haven't watched, it's still on my computer. I'm going to watch the rest of it later, but last night late, 12:30 in the morning, I had YouTube open, uploading a video, and then it came to the homepage, and there was a video of Tony Robbins interviewing Mike Tyson at a private mastermind in Fiji. Mm-hmm. And Mike Tyson, man, you want to talk about one of my heroes. I love that dude. And I love just his tenacity and mm-hmm. ferociousness and he said one of the most brilliant things that I've ever heard anyone say during this interview. He said when he was in prison, he said, I get there and there's all these, and you and I have talked about some of this, but he said, I get there and there's all the, the blacks and the whites and the Hispanics, and they're all separated, and there's this war between them and or among them. And, there's people killing other people in there. And he's like, I said, wait a minute. Now this is Mike Tyson. Who's gonna confront Mike and say, you're full of it, bro? Like, I ain't doing it. Like, good luck with that. Let me know how that works out for you. But he said, I get there and I said, stop this. We're all brothers. We're all brothers in here. We need to stop this right now. And we need to start live. He said, and there was one of these Aryan dudes that had, kill all, on his mm-hmm. tattooed on his chest. And Mike said, he has that anger because he has no love in his heart. And it was one of the most impactful things I've ever heard. And I, as I live my life today for love, mm-hmm. for love. Like, I don't care who you are. Even if you're a bad person, I still have love for you. I do.
Right.
And I'll
Right.
still pray for you. I've been on the other side of being angry and hateful and despicable and all of that stuff. And it serves no purpose. It serves no purpose for this world to be angry and hateful and self-centered and selfish. I'm wearing a bracelet that literally I ordered a bunch of these. It's you can't read it really. It says #help others with my website on there. And the other side says your life will improve. Your life will improve when you get out of the self-centered anger and division and all of that and into how can I just love other people? How can I help other people?
Right.
And I wasn't always like that. It took a lot of getting my butt kicked for many, many years to get to the place of where I'm like, you know what? That old song, all you need is love.
All you need is love.
That's the Beatles. The Beatles.
Yeah.
The Beatles. But like, you know, like all you need is love.
Mm-hmm.
It really is all you need to focus on is love and trying to form a relationship with, I call it God, but the higher power, the spirit, whatever you want to call it. I don't judge anybody by what they call it, but you know, like I said, I choose to call it God, but having a relationship, seeking that goodness in life. And that's what that's what I've changed is I seek goodness. I seek a relationship with love and loving on other people and helping other people. That's what I live for today. And it's weird. It's not who I am at my core, but it is now.
It's not what you used to be at your core.
Used to be, yeah.
That's awesome. That's really incredible. So when you made that switch, when you had that epiphany, like I meant it, at that point, then did you see like quantum leaps in your life, or was it still you had to kind of work through some things before?
There were no quantum anything. I want, see, that's the other thing is I'm very, I want what I want when I want it, and I want it right now. And so, you know, I'm like that little, remember the Willy Wonka and the chocolate factory? And the spoiled brat and oompa dee doo. I'm like that. Like I want my chocolate now, and like you know, like that's me though. That I want everything right now. And I remember when I had 60 days sober. And this is a really nice coin, my sobriety coin for 18 years. And it's got this gold plating. That's beautiful. My wife got it for me. And I can remember when I had 60 days sober. And I saw a guy get up and get a 12-year coin, right, at a meeting. And I got a 60-day chip. It's a plastic chip. And I was like, that's bull crap. I want a nice, shiny, glossy gold. I mean, I've got 60 days, y'all. Like, come on. You know, I thought I was somebody special. And I just remember thinking how I was just, you know, I wanted that. I wanted 12 years. I wanted 20 years of sobriety. And I wanted all the blessings and the gifts that come along with that. And you know, here's one of my, this is a truth that I absolutely despised and I still makes me cringe. And that is time takes time. And, you know, there's a gestation period for everything. You don't plant, Dr. Wayne Dyer talks in his book about this, but you know, you don't plant a seed in the ground to grow your crops. You don't see the farmer standing over the seed yelling at it, grow already, would ya? Right. You're casting a shadow and you're blocking out the sunlight. You know, you've got to well, I'm not saying this for anybody except for myself, but that is you know, we have to learn to plant the seeds, do the work, push forward, keep pushing, and surrender the results to a higher power, to something outside of ourselves. Like, hey, I did all the work, now I surrender. Right? So
Right.
I don't no, there was no quantum leaps or any of that. Now, in the last 5 years, there have been massive quantum leaps for me, massive, and the miracles that just unfold daily in my life now. And it's like, wow, it's incredible. But I'm also looking for that now.
Right.
I'm also looking for that. So it happens.
Right. You know, one thing that I've really learned too is the power of making a decision and reaping the benefits of that decision, but realizing the power of just making a decision.
Just making the decision. I agree. I started a book. I haven't moved forward with it, but it's literally on that topic about making the decision, how to get into making that decision. Because you have to.
You have to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tony Robbins, one of my favorite quotes by Tony is, it is in our moments of decision that our destiny is shaped. And I love that quote, because it's literally, you're literally, you know, one decision away from having a completely different life. And 100%. It only takes an instant.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that wonderful story. I have to, before our time ends, one thing that I really want my audience to know and to hear from the creator itself is about your Grow Live Academy. Would you mind sharing about the Grow Live Academy?
I would love to. So I was, you know, I'm friends with Jeffrey Gitomer, who's he's the author of the best-selling sales book on planet Earth called The Little Red Book of Selling. And he's written 17 other books. And he had a book come out, I guess this has been a couple of years ago, called Get Shit Done. And I saw somewhere, I got posted or something. And I called him. I was coming back from getting a haircut, and I called him and I said, "Hey, congratulations on the new book. If you would like to do a live stream later tonight, let's do it and promote your book and sell some books." And he's like, "Yeah, that'd be super. Just send me a link when you get home." And I said, "Okay." I said, "Hey, Grant Cardone watches once in a while too. So if he gets on, maybe we can get him to pop on the stream." Yeah. And lo and behold, Grant types in the comments while Jeffrey and I are live, "Love you guys." And I'm like, "Grant, why don't you jump on here with us?" And so I sent him the link, and he jumped on there with us. And it was me and Jeffrey Gitomer and Grant Cardone for, I don't know, 10, 15, 20 minutes, something like that. And then and a bunch of other people came on and met Jeffrey that night, and it was a lot of fun. And later that night, Jeffrey's wife sends me a text, and she says, "I need to talk to you." And I said, "Okay." So I call her, and she says, "You have got to create a training course teaching people how to do what you just did." And I go, "What?" And she goes, the live streaming stuff. You have to create a course." And I go, "Okay." And so we talked about it, and she showed me some things, and I created a course. And originally the course was going to be 6 weeks long with 6 videos per week, teaching people how to live stream and get engagement and, you know, get people to share, and et cetera, et cetera. And as I was filming this and putting the modules in, they're anywhere from 3 to 5, 6, 7 minutes. I think there's a couple in there that are 15 or 20 minutes.
Yeah.
I created, there's actually now, I kept thinking, oh, well, they'll need to know this, and oh, they're going to want to know this about Instagram, and they're going to want to know this about TikTok. And oh, you know what I could do is I could create a whole nother section on how to rank videos on YouTube, and I could create a whole section on how to use StreamYard and all of these different things that I created. And and wouldn't you know, I put that thing, and now it's just grown. Well, there's 140 or 150 people, I think, that have signed up for the Grow Live Academy. We have 120 members, I think, in the private Facebook group. And then, because I was still getting questions here and there, I thought, you know, I'm just going to start doing a mastermind. I called it a coaching call on Thursday nights, and just answer questions and talk about what challenges people are having. And Patricia, it has turned into something magical. Every Thursday night we meet at 8:00 Eastern, and you're always on there with your beautiful smile. And you know, and I've had some huge celebrity friends of mine come on and teach and change lives. I've seen people change their lives as a result of all of this. It's been amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Yeah, that's great. That is awesome. I as a participant, and I mean, this is a result of that program, the Grow Live Academy. And I think more importantly than just the content that is so brilliantly done, is it's the community too. It's that family, it's that whole atmosphere, that culture of, here we are, we're all in this together, we're crossing that bridge together. And you know, and in today's climate, I mean, that's even more important, not to take away from what you've done and all the effort that you put in there, but just that synergy. You know, I love that. That's the Grow Live is the nucleus.
It is
the nucleus.
It's pretty amazing. I'm you know, I get messages after just about every Thursday night mastermind call. I'll get messages. Mark Rodriguez and different people have sent me messages going, bro, that was unbelievable. You know, just like I've left those mastermind calls going, that was unreal. I can't even believe that just happened, you know? So I think and I see it growing, and you know, I want to have thousands of members in the Grow Live Academy. I really do. I want to have a lot of people in there, and obviously I have to price it so, you know, it makes sense. Jeffrey Gitomer has been in there multiple times. He's taught in the Grow Live Academy as well, but you know, he's like, dude, you need to be I was charging $9.97. He said, you need to raise your prices. That, I mean, you've got way too much value in there. So I raised it to $49.97 for a lifetime license, so $5,000. But it's still, right now, it's available for $9.97. If you go to growliveacademy.com, it's $5,000. It's $49.97. However, there is another link that you can go to. It's growlive.academy. Growlive.academy will take you to another page where you can get it for $9.97. And that includes the coaching calls. That includes the weekly coaching calls. There's 40 different coaching calls that we've done. And they're all in there. They're all in there. 39. I don't know what the number is, but 39 or 40.
Did I get that right?
Growlive.academy. Definitely not Tammy's Natural Essentials.
I just wanted to make sure you're paying attention.
It's growlive.academy. But yeah, I mean, there's all of the mastermind calls. There are, in those mastermind calls, here's what's interesting. Everybody, you know, Grant Cardone says this: everybody wants to go to heaven, but nobody wants to die. You know, nobody wants to, not nobody, but very few people are willing to. I've had so many people invest in the Grow Live Academy and then not do the work, not even log in and watch the videos, not the first video. Now there's a lot of people that have gone through the entire Grow Live Academy, and they have a very, very, very good, solid, well-rounded understanding of how all of this works. But I've had a lot of people that are like, yeah, I'm going to get to it. I'm going to get to it. And I promise you, I can go through and, yeah, I had Doug. I didn't get desperate. Doug's his father's the founder of, inventor of the Little Giant Ladder Company. And Doug worked in that business for 45 years, and he has got so much wisdom and business knowledge to share with people. He came in this 1 week and taught, and it was incredible, absolutely incredible. So, I think that, again, it's something that is, it's morphing into some really cool stuff. And right now you can still get the access to the live weekly mastermind calls for that $9.97. It is not staying. I'm putting it, my wife's working on it now. We're going to start charging a monthly fee for access to the mastermind. And I have way more you're in there, what it's like.
Absolutely.
It's worth at least $500 a month. So, I'm getting ready to switch all of that. You will not get access to the mastermind for the $9.97. So, that was something I did, months ago to add additional value. Well, now there's 40 different recordings of some amazing rock stars in there that have delivered so much, millions, hundreds of millions of dollars worth of content. And so if you go in and do it, and you do the work, you got to do the work. There's no shortcut. Thank you, Doug. I love you, brother. Thank you. That's coming from, Doug's got a net worth of about $200 or $300. He is killing.
He has jokes, doesn't he, Doug? That's what I love about him. He's always got jokes.
The headlight, just one headlight on one of his cars is probably, 10 times that amount. So I'm playing. Doug and I joke all the time. I love that dude. He is literally one of my best friends. Life with Doug is fun. He's a great guy.
Yeah. So
yeah, look, it's something that I do one-on-one coaching. You're a client of mine. Doug's a client of mine. I do a lot of that, helping people take their life to the next level, and get rid of the things that are holding them back. Right.
Yes.
So I love that one-on-one, but my time is limited. I don't have a ridiculous amount of time to do a lot of one-on-one coaching. I'm running a lot of different things. So I love getting the group together and doing the mastermind.
Yeah.
But then it's not all on me. Doug might chime in and say, hey, Patricia, have you thought of doing this or this or this? And other people are chiming in, and it's hence me calling it a mastermind, because that's what I want it to be. I want it to be the collective, not the just Ken's opinion. I want it to be the collective, helping everybody, helping each other. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So, and that's what it's all about.
And it's fun. Yeah.
Yeah. So the promo on the growlive.academy.com, it's limited.
No, it's not .com. I didn't even notice you put that on there. It's just www.growlive.academy. There is no .com.
All right.
Yeah. Sorry.
It's okay.
It's www.growlive.academy.
There we go.
There you go.
Here, we got it right. Third time's a charm.
Third time.
That is a limited time offer. That's not going to be forever. So
it's not, and I'm not one of those. I'm not one of those guys. It's like, you got until midnight.
Yeah,
it's coming soon. And when I say soon, I'd say by sometime in the next probably week, we're going to be changing it and have the coaching program separated. And now the access to the recorded mastermind calls, you'll always have that, but yeah, it's going to be separated.
Okay, cool.
For sure.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, it has been a pleasure, sir.
Patricia, I got to say this, I am, I am so dang proud of you. You really you're doing such a fantastic job. You have just an amazing, beautiful, beautiful energy. I remember when I first met you, when you were at some golf course calling me about their website or something. Um, the difference between then and now is like night and day. Your energy, I'm not saying you were like mean, but your energy is just, you're just happy, joyous, and free. And you're just, the light is just beaming out of you. So I'm so proud of you. I'm proud of everything that you're doing, and look out, world, because she's got some big old things coming. So you rock. Thank you for having me on your show.
Thank you. And I thank you for the just the affirmation and the accolades of that. I really appreciate it. I'm excited about what's coming as well. So I really, like, I got butterflies right now in my stomach. I'm really excited. So, but it's been a pleasure having you here, and you are the man. You're not a myth, and you are a legend. So, you are.
I'm just me.
But just say thank you. How about that?
Thank you. How about that?
All right, guys. I hope you guys have a wonderful afternoon. Again, you had the wonderful, amazing Ken Walls. You got a gift here with the GrowLive.Academy that you can take advantage of. And I highly recommend that you do it sooner than later. And it will be a beautiful blessing to you. So I hope you guys have a great day. We'll talk to you soon. Ken, if you'll stay on.
Yep.
I'm going to end this broadcast.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Have a good day, everyone.